A very good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to all who has joined us for today's session. I welcome you all to today's webinar on code compliance with digital twin. Our speakers for today are Mr. Abhay Nayak, who is a digital design manager, and I'm Richa, who is associated with Desapex as a business development manager. Today's agenda for today's webinar is Introduction to Desapex, Overview of Building Information Modeling. What are the codes and standards? Why are they important? How can BIM be used to identify risks? Common errors by traditional methods and manual checking of codes. Case study 1, compliance check before leasing an existing building. Case study 2, limitation study for refurbishment or capacity enhancement projects. Tools and technologies for checking building codes and standards. And we have a short question and answer round at the end of this. So the introduction will be taken care by me, and the other topics will be taken care by Mr. Abhay Nayak. So let me introduce Desapex. Desapex is a digital engineering organization working towards digital technology integration in the AC industry to improve the life cycle of the built assets. This is the process. We provide complete digital solutions throughout the life cycle of the building or infrastructure, that is design, construction, and operations. Mission and vision is what defines the purpose of our organization. Desapex aims to create a sustainable built environment by enabling digital adoption and integration of technologies for target value design. We are headquartered at Bengaluru and also operating from 3 major cities in India: Chennai, Hubli, and Hyderabad. We are serving our clients across the globe. These are the customer segments that we are catering to, starting from hotels and restaurants, corporate real estate, residential, educational institutes, data centers, metro railway, and all other important segments. What are the challenges of the AC industry? The construction industry is facing multiple challenges in this digital transformation era. Majorly, poor coordination between the stakeholders and designers, complications arising midway during construction will cause poor productivity. 2D drawings can cause miscommunication between the stakeholders, and it is very difficult in rich visualization content such as animation, rendering, etc. Running a project without good project management is a false economy. So it is often thought to an unnecessary burden on the budget. If the facility is not properly transformed to the client at the time of handover, and the data will be lost with the passage of time. This will cause difficulties for retrofitting and renovation in the future. And lack of standards and regulation can result in the tragedy like structure collapse, fire breakout, and general deterioration. Sustainability can be the most challenging aspects of this industry too. So it also contributes 11% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. 3 verticals that we cater to: digital design management, digital project management, and digital asset management. Under digital design management, we provide the solutions for clash detection and coordination, including all trades, architectural, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and firefighting modeling, and also BIM-based pre-construction services. At Desapex, we provide our clients to translate the conventional 2D drawings into the 3D BIM models and perform these simulations before we even go to the construction site. Under the digital project management, we provide our clients to manage 3 construction projects digitally, where we provide a digital information delivery plan, technical due diligence, and setting up a digital lab. And the digital asset management here, we assist our client to digitize their project document in terms of the latest as-built 2D drawings into 3D BIM models. And we also digitize the existing physical building, like the building after handover stage or during the operation stage. We are also partnered with a Finnish company, Granlund. We have an integrated tool called Granlund Manager, which is used to provide the solutions like BIM for facility management, in which we provide maintenance management, energy management, asset management, and also real estate portfolio management services using the BIM model. Digital twin. Regarding digital twins using reality capture, here we build models by using laser scanning technology. We are going to develop BIM models using reality capture data. And that model can be further used as at-build verifications and documentations, and also construction progress monitoring. Our approach is what makes us different from the others. We have developed a team capable of integrating design and construction parameters into a digital information model, which blends the expertise in domain, process, and tool, and provide the owner an unmatched performance. And this is our approach to deliver quality projects on time. This is our team, which is young and passionate, and we have civil, mechanical, architecture, and electrical BIM engineers. This part is the USP of Desapex. I feel very proud to say that we are the first company in the world and the only company in India to have the SKY mark from the British Standard Institute, which is the global standard for BIM. And it is ISO 19650 Part 1 and Part 2. This is all about Desapex portfolio. I would now like to hand over to Mr. Abhay for further session. Over to you, Abhay.
Thanks, Richa. If you could stop sharing. Thanks, Richa. Hello, everyone. I'm Abhay Nayak, and I have been associated with Desapex from last 4 years. I work with my team to understand client requirements, prepare project plans, and deliver the project as per planned schedule. My designation here is the Digital Design Manager. During my career, I had a privilege to work as a plumbing, fire protection, and life safety engineer, where I had to dive deep into international, national, and local codes and standards on daily basis. And as all the projects here at Desapex are developed only on BIM framework, with time we found methods to check codes using BIM model by using various supporting applications. So today I would like to share with you some of my experiences associated with building codes and standards, and how we can use BIM technology to check and identify risks in a more accurate method when compared to the manual or traditional way of team visiting site and doing all the physical checks. So the today's topic on which we are discussing is code compliance check using digital twin. And what we are going to discuss is, one is the overview on building information modeling. What are building codes and standards and why they are important to us? How can BIM be used to identify risks, common errors by traditional method, and manual checking of codes? And two of the case studies where we have been doing this service for our clients. One is for the technical due diligence, and the second one is for the building limitation study for refurbishment and capacity enhancement. And then a few of the tools and technologies which we use to check these codes and standards. So this is today's agenda. So coming to BIM, so I would like to spare next 2 minutes to my audience who are new to BIM framework, and give them an overview about BIM and how it is used at different stages of project. So BIM, Building Information Modeling, or BIM, provides architects, engineers, and construction professionals the ability to plan, design, and manage building projects more efficiently, creating the need for an framework that allows the industry to work together at the international level. BIM supports at all stages of project's life cycle. So it starts from the programming of any project, where we create multiple design options and compare them. Then the conceptual and the detailed design stage of the project, where we do building analysis, we do energy efficiency checks, CFD analysis. We create construction and fabrication drawings. So we can do this while the conceptual design and detailed design stage. And while construction phase, we can use BIM models to create 4D simulation by linking the master schedule to the model, and then take it up for 5D simulation, which helps for financial planning while the construction phase of the project. We can use also BIM models for construction logistics planning, what material has to be procured, so that all planning can be done. For building operation and maintenance stage, the asset information model will help in easy tracking and maintenance of assets. And also, while the demolition stage, BIM processes will be very helpful. It can be used to calculate the salvage value of the building or any other requirement. So, what are building codes and standards? What are building codes and standards, and why are they important? So, codes and standards define the life safety and well-being of building occupants. Codes and standards change based on type of occupants, building height, region, and other factors. Even though most of the codes and standards are derived from the international code based on the demography, the codes are tweaked to serve the purpose, which we call as local codes. This means there are a lot of codes and standards which architects, consultants have to follow while designing a building for different types of usage and different locations. It's a big challenge when we consider the time frame each project will have nowadays. So another challenge is the frequent amendment of these codes. So the amount of time it takes to create the code checklist templates, to check the drawing manually and update the checklist templates as and when the codes are amended. So that is another challenge. Then the number of times the design get revised in any project. So it makes the compliance check process laborious and time consuming. There is an equal amount of pressure from all the sides to complete the project as soon as possible, which may lead to negligence in checking the codes and standards. All the above reasons sometimes lead to neglect in properly checking the codes and standards while the design stage, and open up to life and safety risk to the building occupants. So we can streamline checking process using BIM models and other plugins to run the test with a single check when we have a one-time created code templates. So these templates can also be used across projects of similar type. So now we will discuss few of the projects where we have used BIM technology to check building codes and standards. So my first case study is on technical due diligence, which we offer as a service to our clients. Our clients would lease existing building and refurbish them to an office space or any other use case. So it could be a core and shell building or a preoccupied building. The intention of this technical due diligence, leasing the building, is to check if the existing condition of the building adheres to the codes and standards, and the capacity of infrastructure, available infrastructure, suffices the fit-out needs of my client, and to highlight the due infrastructure and compliance issues. So on a very broad level, if I have to say, it is to make analysis if the building suits fit-out requirements and if the building is in line with codes and standards. So let us discuss what are the steps involved and how we used BIM to give our clients a accurate output. The very first step, what you can see is the project information in the image. So collecting the right project information will help to do the right checking. So what we did is we used laser scanners to scan the entire building. To the benefits of doing this is one is my design team doesn't need to visit site and spend days to capture the data. The survey team will bring the data to their desk and they can measure, review, verify all the equations remotely and anytime they require that. Then the manual checking is a tedious task. and risky also when we are working at heights. So especially with core and shell building, when we don't have the occupancy certificate, the lifts are not operational, and we have to walk all the way in the high-rise buildings using the stairs, and it is a laborious and tedious job. So most of the people will not prefer it. So in the morning we are energetic, but as the time passes, the fatigue reduces the performance, hence the accuracy of data collection reduces. So sometimes areas with potential issues might be skipped due to fatigue. So this doesn't serve the purpose. The another benefit is to measure the building area security. So initially, when we are at the initial stage of project, we have to again assign a separate team to do the survey and see the accurate area. So this is the single solution where you can use it for multiple things. You can create existing condition drawings. You can verify the areas, because in multi-tenant building there will be common areas, shared spaces, some are leasable areas. So it will help to set the lease value and rent based on the building area what we are going to occupy. And to check the codes and compliance with the BIM template, we can run code tests which will help accurate compliance report. With the help of these technologies, we have helped our client to get accurate core compliance report, which help them to decide whether to lease the building or negotiate or walk away. So we could identify design issues, potential issues, compliance issues. I'll just show you. This is the scan data, laser scan data. So here what we can do is the design team can sit on their desk and they can do the measurements of the staircase. And if you want to check the width, so they can do it from their desk without even going to the site. This can be verified by multiple teams based on their requirement. If they want to see if there are number of staircases, if they have missed to check something, any beams, columns, all these verifications can be done from remotely from their desks. So this is the benefit of doing BIM based code compliance check. So then we can give due reports. So dues might be with respect to the design or the infrastructure or some potential risks or something which will my client has to spend a lot of money. Some observations. So all these things can be put into a record and shared with the client, where he will decide whether we have to walk away or whether we can negotiate and get things rectified, or we can lease the building if it is compliant. So this is one of the case study. So the next case study what I want to present is regarding the BIM, where we have used BIM models to check the codes and standards to prepare a report on limiting factors for expansion of occupancy capacity. So we called it as building limitation study. The process was to identify any key constraints associated with the building or floors within a multi-tenant building that would impact use of space or ability to optimize the workplace. This included identification, escalation, recording, and management of all violations of property or building code or any other law or regulation relevant to the building. So the key item identified as limiting factor were, like you can see on the screen, one was the means of escape, then the discharge value, the fresh air provision, then the bathroom provisions, that is restroom provisions, the cooling and electrical loads, and the vertical transportation, and the maximum head count what we can have per floor. So because whenever we are increasing any capacity, the building or any other factors which either are codes or standards should support. So another reason for a study of this limitation study was to decide on the because the extension of lease period. So the building could be optimized, then extending the lease period would be useful to my client. If not, then shifting to another building would add value. So the first step was to capture the existing condition, because most of the buildings of my client were 20 plus years old. Either the drawings were dilapidated or they were missing. Also, my client had made many minor modifications in the interior layouts in the last 20 years, which were like small contracts given, and they were not reflected back into the main drawings. So, if we proceed with the available data, the purpose of study would not suffice. So, we first plan to capture the existing condition of the building by laser scanning. This provided us with a condition of the building and help to develop the refurbishment plan. So if you look at the key factor to be checked, the 7 factors what we have to check, they are either codes or they are standards. And capturing the right data from the site is very important to check them. So we used again laser scanning to check the existing condition, and used a model-based checking platform to check the key limiting factor and find the mitigation plan. So this technology can also be used in the design projects. So then what we did is, initially, once we captured the existing conditions of the site, we took two ways, two options to our client. One is quick wins, and another is doing the entire refurbishment. So there were some areas where we could add desk or do minor modifications without changing anything with the existing furniture or something. And the existing, for example, in this floor, we had 571 workstations. So with some minor modifications, like you can see here highlighted, we could add 47 more workstations and take it to 618 workstations. So the optimization level was like 618 with minor modifications. It would take very less cost and time to do these modifications, and the win would be 47. It is the like quick win layout. Then we did another design option. So the second design option was to changing all the desks. So this 20 years old layout, they had a very large size desks, and a lot of space was unutilized or unscientifically designed or at that point. So we could bring it back by optimized size of workstations and increase the workstation level, where we had to remove all the existing workstations and replace it with the new workstations. So here you can see that the 571 workstations could be increased to 790. So 290 additional workstations could be added into the floor. So this was the other way. But only by changing the furniture, this is not going to happen. So all the other factors into the building should also support, for which we required all these things. So here the existing condition data, what was captured, and the code-based checking helped us. So here what we did is the means of egress. So we captured all the door widths, exit door widths, all these things, and calculated the MOE. Then for vertical transportation, we did all the calculations based on the standards available, and electrical calculations were done based on the increased in capacity. So this brought us to a conclusion that for which is the most limiting factor and what we can do to mitigate this. So for example, here you see that for fresh air, there is no fresh air provision. By adding fresh air fans, we could mitigate this issue. So there is a limitation factor due to restrooms. So we could add more restrooms and give additional things. So like this, for all the factors, wherever possible, we could give client a summary and give a note on what can be done and how we can increase the optimize the building more. So this was the summary of assessment, what we did. So coming to the traditional versus laser scanning, so few points I want to compare here. So we can capture the existing conditions faster when compared to traditional methods. Because traditional methods we have to uh, manually capture everything and working at heights and in fully like in a under construction building, it's very risky to work. So that is being mitigated by using these latest technologies. By using latest technology. And this data is available in our computers. So it may be my architects, engineers, client, or anyone else who wants to verify the condition, they can do it remotely. So a lot of money is saved visiting the sites to collect small missing data. So and all the codes and standards cannot be mastered by all the team members. So the software what we are using for like template-based model checking. So it provides flexibility to all the team members to use this template and perform model-based code and standard and quality checks. So whenever the design get revised, the check can be run with a single click. So manual checking is like manual checking all the corners of the building will be a tedious task. So there are benefits when compared to traditional methods. So if time and money can be saved in any project, then the project will be successful. So here, like I initially said, for the capturing the existing condition, so we used laser scanners. So we scanned the existing buildings. So we got the point cloud data of that. We either used the scan data or we converted it into a BIM model based on the project requirement. So then after converting, we could also extract sheets, so on which we could do the markups and give the drawings to the client. So this is one of the technology what we are using to capture the existing condition accurately and give a report. Then coming to the rule-based model checking. So here we used a tool called Solibri. So here what we can do is we can create rules. So for example, if we want to check a door swing, so we can set rules for the door swing and we can assign and we can check. So whenever the door size is changed or anything, we can just run and it will give us. For example, to check the egress path. So the farthest distance to any of the exit door of the floor can also be checked for each furniture. So if any furniture or any chair is not compliant, it will highlight a particular area and that area can be redesigned. Similarly, we can set rules for different things. It is not just for codes and standards. Any fit out guideline or any operational guidelines, what any company has, we can create rules for those standards also, and we can use them. So the conclusion here is because the checking process of codes and standards are tedious and time consuming, they are neglected. Only few initial revisions of the design are checked and the process is skipped in the later stage. So automated checking brings increased efficiency and reduction in the cost of compliance checking. So this will help my client to be compliant without a delay in their project schedule. So that is all regarding the topic today. So I thank everyone who attended this webinar. Over to my colleague Richa.
Thank you, Abhay, for such a wonderful knowledge sharing session with us. We'll now open the question and answer round portal, and parallelly we'll a video for you all on Scan to BIM. So if anyone has any question, please drop in the chat box.
the one question is whether we have done any of this study or technical due diligence for Indian clients. So yes, we are based out of Bangalore, and we have done this service for our clients pan India. So what we do is we can use these laser scanners, and we can capture the site conditions, and we can do this. And both the case studies were for clients where their facilities were within India.
Thank you, Abhay, for sharing such an informative and valuable session. And I thank you all, each and everyone, for joining us. And we'll connect again soon, and we'll bring more and more interesting topics in our industry. So stay tuned with Desapex at LinkedIn and all our social media platforms. Thank you and have a great day.